Hello, 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 everybody. Frederick, hey. ACC Life, Emmanuel. I know it ain't gonna be that many people in here like it usually is because we ain't being messy. Welcome to another session of We Listen, We Don't Judge, but we state our opinion. This is the celebrity edition. We're gonna talk about Tory Lanez, Meg the Stallion, P. Diddy, and we're gonna talk a little bit about DDG and Haley. Haley, I'm not gonna say Holly, Haley. But I really want to talk about this Tory Lane stuff more because we got to take a step back down memory lane, and that's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be a nice lengthy live, so get whatever you need because we're gonna have to take a step back to remember where it all began to understand where we are now. I will admit, I've always had a lot of questions about this Meg Thee Stallion and Tory case because even though I'm a girly's girl, when stuff don't make sense, it just don't make sense. And now that Kelsey's bodyguard has come forward after, as you know, Tory Lanez was stabbed in prison 2 days ago, I believe, or it was the day before yesterday, or yesterday. He was stabbed 14 times, and he collapsed. His lungs collapsed. He was on life support, and I feel like now that this stuff is coming out, either it's because somebody feeling guilty or it might be they knew what was happening and a hit was put out. But let's not go all the way there real fast. Let's step back into Tory Lane's live that he did about it. And I'm gonna be honest, I never really watched the whole live. And I really feel bad for that because it's kind of making sense. Hey, Dream Chaser, make sure y'all hit that God dang on like button. Let's go.
So there's some things that I just want to say today. I think that they're very important, and um, I know that there's been a lot of speculation about the things that I've been going through and how I've been dealing with them, and the insensitivities of just me not like talking when y'all wanted me to talk and saying certain things. And I just felt like I owed it to my fans and supporters of people who, when they look at me and they look at me as a role model, I owed it to those people as a person to just like give them some sort of transparency and some sort of accountability of certain things. I feel like, you know, for those who don't know, for the last 3 months of my life, I've been in this place where, I've been bashed. I've been cut through, just people every single day coming at me, coming at me, coming at me. And it's crazy because the whole thing about it is just like when this whole debacle or whatever you call it came about, the whole time it's like she knows what happened, I know what happened, and we know that what you're saying and what the alleged things and the alleged accusations of my name is are not true. It's falsified information. It's false information, and it's not accurate information. I don't ever want to come off like I'm here to bash this girl or I'm here to talk down about this girl or ever be at a place where like I'm disrespecting her because to me as a person, she's still my friend. No matter what, even if she doesn't look at me like that, I look at her like she's still my friend. In the times that we were together or around each other, we've had nothing but joyous moments and good moments. So I'm not going to sit here and bash her. But at the same time, it comes to a certain standpoint of me as a person where it's like, yo, do y'all want me to just sit here and just allow my name to be assassinated, my character to be assassinated, everything that I worked for to get here to just be assassinated for something that I did not do, something that the events that are being said are not even accurate and accurately being portrayed to everybody, the narrative that's being created or being being created to make me come off like I'm some.
And I'm playing this live because I don't know if a lot of people seen this live. Hey, friend. I don't know if a lot of people seen this live because I know I didn't. And I actually had to sit and watch through the whole live and listen to what he was saying. So that's why I'm starting back here because we have to watch. This is right after, but this is before he went to jail or anything.
Monster is now what I'm having to live through for 3 months straight of just people just coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And it's like, yo, I'm not here to beg no sympathy from nobody. I've never been one of those people. I'm not a person that's sitting here like, yo, everybody feels sorry for me. Like, nah. Because at the end of the day, if I did what they're saying I did, then by all means, I would say the same exact thing about me. I say that nigga's a bitch ass nigga. He doesn't respect females. He's a fuck boy, and that nigga deserves no respect. Period. I've never been a person that all of a sudden, is everybody all of a sudden like, yo, he's this guy who doesn't protect black women, and he's this guy who. But it's like he's this guy who doesn't care about black women. That's what the narrative is now switching to, and certain things like that. And it's like, hold on, I need y'all to really.
Exactly, Barry. And that's why I'm starting from the beginning because I never seen this live. And now that I seen it, and now that I'm like looking back, this is you got to check it out.
Back this up. When have I not showed out for black women? Every single one of my videos, the lead girl is black. From Say It to Love to now. Like when have I not showed love to black women? I made 5 chicks tapes about black love, about a black relationship, about a ghetto relationship at that. Like, you feel me? Like, when did I become this person? Like, my favorite song on the last chicks tape that I put out was Beauty in the Benz. And that was a record that with Snoop Dogg that I loved. And instead of me even being inside of the video, like really take me in for a second. Instead of me even being in the video, and this is before all this, instead of me being in the video, I made the video all about the empowerment of black women. There's nothing but different types of black women in the video, all shapes, sizes, colors, ages, that just shows the love in what I'm doing. And it's like all of a sudden a narrative comes out with no factual evidence, and all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. And it's like, yo, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, and I support the whole movement of protecting black women, but I want to speak on something. And sometimes, I know I'm not always in the right place to speak on things, but this is something that I went through, so I feel like I'm able to speak on it. I am all for protecting black women. That is something that is one of the most important things that needs to be taken serious and awareness needs to be brought to. And regardless, if this debacle, regardless of what you guys think happened, if this situation caused you guys to pay more attention and more awareness to protecting black women, then I'm fine that I had to be dragged through the dirt for that. But I want y'all to understand something. It's a problem when it becomes that protecting black women doesn't mean to protect black men. That doesn't make sense. From the beginning of time, when you really think about how this works, like from the beginning of time, we've been taught to be with our own heritage. And from the beginning of time, we've been taught to be with our own heritage. White man and white woman, white girl and white man. Spanish man, Spanish woman, Indian man, Indian woman. When you guys start making it like put black men down and protect the black women, I'm not saying you guys, I don't mean to make it like, oh, you're attacking, but when we as a whole make it protecting black women means putting down black men, then it comes to a point where it's like, okay, well, who's going to protect black women? Who is supposed to be protecting black women? It has to be black men. It's not the white man. It's not the Spanish man. It's not the man who, it's not none of those. It's not the Chinese man. It's not none of those men. It is it's black men. It's black men. And I'm not saying that black men aren't the people who in times who aren't the people who inflict certain issues and mental issues and certain things that girls go through. Like, black men are very much the cause of a lot of things that women go through because of, at the end of the day, like the way we were raised, certain standpoints. Maybe we didn't have a parent around. Some things were just not here to, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, it's like, you got to remember at the standpoint, if the man is supposed to be, and I say this loosely because I don't want anybody to take this out of context. If the man is supposed to be the head and a woman is supposed to be the neck, y'all got to think about this. In order for the head to move, in order for the head to move left, right, whatever it is doing, it needs the guidance of the neck. It needs the guidance of the woman. In order for me to smell and use my five senses on my face, for me to lean in or whatever the case is, I still need to use the neck. I still need to be guided by a woman. So regardless, it's like I don't feel like I should be torn down. If anything, before y'all know the story, like learn the story first, learn the factual parts of the story first, and then come at me and be like, yo,
Salute everybody. Ooh, salute everybody pulling up in the chat. Hey, Sunny, Godma, Big Slick, Edie. Yes, get that to me because I didn't see, but I heard of the stuff that happened. And I'm also playing this to say I don't understand the motive. Now, I'm all for the girl. As y'all know, I love me some Meg Thee Stallion. Y'all know that's my girl. But I want to first of all, now that everything is coming out, I've been wanting to know the motive. Because it's like even at this point when he's doing this live, he's still showing her love. He's not loud, he's not outraged, he's not being disrespectful, and it's just not giving, what they're trying to get. Second of all, it's like motive. If he had sexual intercourse with them both, what did he have to be mad about? Like, I'm a woman speaking on it, but from a man's point of view, I don't know no man that will be angry. What is he angry about? He's already, done whatever y'all think it is he's trying to do. So that wasn't adding up either. But now that you have to listen, you just have to listen to this live because it's like, even with all that's going on, he's still not giving what they want us to believe. And a lot of us, and I'm one of them, I was just on girly girl shit. I'm a girly girl. I don't believe in that. But now, he has been stabbed. As y'all know, he has been stabbed by a man that's already serving life. Which that would make anybody come out and really want to tell. I just don't understand why he didn't tell out the gate. But it's saying that, her security guard has came forward and said this. Now, everybody can act like it's bull crap and it's this and it's that, but I don't believe that because if it was nothing to it or they didn't feel like they had any type of proof leading to this, they wouldn't have blasted it like they did. So let's keep watching because, like I said, this is before he even start going to court, jail, anything. This is him speaking on the situation.
you need to fix this and fix that if that's what you feel like I did. But instead, I'm being torn down for a narrative that's like, now I'm the poster boy for I don't like black women. But, anyways, let's get into this. I want to get into this because it's very important for me to just say this. I'm not here to bash this woman. I'm not here to come down on this woman. I'm not here to disrespect her or throw her under the bus, but it comes to a certain standpoint where I just can't let my character be assassinated for things that are not even really true, like and for falsified narratives and information. Let's start this off. When the original report came out, and it was a TMZ report about this, that, and the third, and there was gunshots and Kylie Jenner's house and Tory Lanez goes to jail. They gave y'all all the facts of the juice of Tory Lanez going to jail and this, that, and the third, and Megan getting arrested and da 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 da. 2 days after that, I get a call from Rock Nation that says, "Yo, we heard you're gonna make a statement about what happened, and it'd be in your best interest if you don't make that statement." I'm like, oh, okay. I don't understand what the issue of me telling my fans, like, yo, look, it's not that serious of a deal. I went to jail for whatever. It's like, I didn't get for that 2 days why that was an issue. 2 days later, TMZ report come out. TMZ reports and have the surveillance now. Now they see the video of the arrest. You see Megan, you see me, and you see it's all sprawled out on the ground in bathing suits and blah, blah, blah. And everything I'm saying is public record. You can go back and look at this shit. You can go back and see it. Like, you feel me? So they say, oh, okay, you see her out of the car, she's getting out of the car, she's hopping, and it looks bad, bro. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I felt bad watching it because it made her look bad, and it didn't make her look good. It didn't make any of us look good, and I didn't want that for her. I don't see that for anybody. So all of a sudden, when we get arrested, or when it looks like we all got arrested, the memes start. Now I want to really bring you guys in for a second so you can understand something, and I really just want you to take this in. Like, she is a person I spent enough time with her to observe and understand something about her, where it's like she's going through a lot. She goes through a lot. She deals with a lot on her day-to-day basis. And because of that, she's not used to, you know, and not even just because of that, but just because of the fact that she's been praised so much. We've always looked at her as like, yo, that's hip hop sweetheart. Like she's nice, she's talented, whatever the case is, cool. And because of that, like we've never seen a moment where the memes have come at her, where the memes are like, yo, nigga, let's laugh at your pain. Ah ha 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 ha. She's never had to deal with that because she's always been praised. So everything that's been happening has been a reaction off of what's been going on. So it gets down to this point now where it's like now the reports are starting to say, okay, well, everyone's pointing to different things. No one really knows what's happened, but nobody has ever said she got shot. Nobody has ever said she got shot. Not TMZ, not the police report at this point. Nothing is saying that she got shot. Soon as she sees herself on video with the bikini and the things like that, and it looks bad, she then comes out and says, yo, the narrative of me getting cut by glass, it's just not true. She doesn't point at nobody or anybody or say anything or anything like that. She just says the narrative that whatever came out of me being cut by glass is not true. I was shot in my feet with the intention to harm me and put harm and danger upon me.
And once again, I'm playing this because it's the beginning, and a lot of people didn't see this. Like I said, I'm one of the people, I didn't see this live. I didn't see this, and he gonna drop a lot of gems in this live, and we just gotta listen because, like I said, a lot of people. Now, to the people that have seen it, cool. But like I said, me for instance, I'm one of the persons who didn't see it, and watching it blew my mind because he dropped nothing but facts and it's straight gems in here that, of course, we miss.
Right? So, okay, cool. Like all of a sudden, the affiliates of her circle start pointing like little subliminal fingers, like count your days and like I won't be around and you shooting at feet and like little funny things that they start doing. And I'm kind of like, damn, hold on, where are y'all about to take this? Because y'all told me not to make a statement, so I'm trying to figure out where y'all taking me. I don't get it. So then at this point she goes live because people are not really understanding the story or whatever cases. She waits. She doesn't go on, a time when it's just a regular time. For y'all who don't understand, it was one of those things where me and her knew what was going on, but y'all didn't know what was going on. She went live on my birthday with all her jewelry on, da 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 da. And then
Sonny, I honestly now I'm not even gonna say now because I always had my doubts. I always felt like it was something weird about this case because I mean, we can't lie. They literally locked that man up with no evidence. They showed us no evidence. They showed us no evidence. And like I said, it was little stuff that it didn't add up to me. Like I said, it doesn't make sense for him to shoot at her because what reason would he have to be angry? Now, the narrative that I have doesn't make it true. It's just a narrative. I could see from the story we know Kelsey at some point hooked up with Tory Lanez. Now we know Megan hooked up with Tory Lanez, even though Meg lied about hooking up with him. I feel like they was at the party. People get to drinking, people feelings get to spilling out. Plus, if you watch the live, Meg, Tory was giving Meg a lot of attention. Like, yeah, they was like, the liquor's flowing. People not thinking like that. So, like I said, if they left and it was an argument, I can't see him being mad. He hit already. Both of y'all. He had no reason to be angry, but it definitely sounds like I just know if Meg lied to us about sleeping with the man, I know she lied to Kelsey about sleeping with the man. And it all came out. That's how I feel, but let's finish.
then she says, yo, And the thing about the whole jury thing is like, my bad. She knew that it wasn't a situation where, um, like, she knew she had to do certain sympathetic things, I guess, to push the narrative. And I don't know who told her to do certain things like that. And I'm not the one who's trying to like ever point the finger at anybody. But when it really comes down to it, it's like you went on live on your birthday, and then you said on my birthday, and then you said I got shot in my foot, and it didn't hit no bones or tendons. So everybody's looking at this, and again, the internet is a sick place. This is a place where people don't give a fuck about you. They do what they do. They antagonize and they do what they do. You go in and you see you get shot in your foot, no bones or tendons. The internet goes into an outrage because some people are like, hold on, how you not get shot? How you get shot in your foot and it don't hit no bones or tendons? Like, whoever is watching this, like, if you need to go on Google and look at a foot anatomy of bones and skeletons and tendons, you realize there's like 30 bones in your feet and like 100 tendons, some crazy number like that, right? So she now gets to this place where the people are like, hold on. And again, the internet is sick. The internet starts coming at her and saying, yo, show your feet. Because we're seeing you at DJ Khaled's house and you're on your tippy toes. And then we're seeing that you're, that you're here and there, and they're antagonizing her. They're brutally coming for her and not giving her, I guess, what it is that she needed. But it gets to this point where now she posts a picture of a foot. And she posts this picture of her foot. There's no exit wound. There's a lot of inconsistencies in the story. And she says under the post, you see, I got shot in the back of my foot because when I was walking away from the car.
Now we're gonna stop right there. We listen, we don't judge, but what we state our opinion. I'm not the smartest person in the world. But if you're walking away, that means your back is turned, right? If you were hit in the back of the foot, that means your back was turned. How did you see him shoot you if you were walking away?
She says she puts this in capital letters. She says, I was walking away from the car and I got shot in the back of my foot. She doesn't ever show the other foot that she claims she got shot in. And I'm not trying to, again, I hate that this is coming off like I'm trying to come for her and whatever cases, but this is what I'm having to endure and watch when I'm knowing certain facts. So
Hey,
it gets,
Quan.
it gets to this place where I'm just like, bro, like this is not me, and I don't deserve this. Like I don't deserve to have to go through this. Like I never have been somebody who's had domestic cases. I've never hit no woman. I've never had
Honestly, Barry,
abusive
it
cases with no
wasn't. It
woman.
was
I
bullet
can't pull those
fragments
type
in
of
her foot.
facts up on me. I don't have those. So it's like I just didn't understand why I'm going through this. So now it gets to this point where she posts this picture of her foot and everyone's seeing certain things and everyone's saying certain things about her foot, and some people think it's real, some people don't think it's real, and it gets to this place where some people are just not believing it. So she posted a picture. There's no bullet tray. Where are they taking out the bullets for the pan? Like if this is what's going on. Like where are they taking out the bullets for the pan? I don't understand. Like where's the surgical? You're not in the surgical room. And anybody who knows, I mean, this is like it clearly had to be the first day that you've taken this picture. So if this is the first day that you've taken this picture, it's like where's all the evidence? Why are you not in the surgical room? First of all, you're not even allowed to take pictures in a surgical procedure. That is against the law. It doesn't matter if you're famous or not. So it gets to this point now where it's like, she says I was shot from behind, and blah blah blah, this down the third, and I was walking away, and she puts that, and then she deletes the post after. But that contradicts with the first post because you said somebody came out to hit you with malicious harm and danger, to put you in harm and all this danger and all this stuff. How can you identify who's shooting at you if you're facing the other way? How can you even identify criminal or malicious intent if you're not seeing what's going on behind you? It doesn't even make sense. And so it's like I'm looking at this and I'm just like, yo, this is not right. Like, and I do see when people are getting at her, and there's times when I'm like, damn, like, do I help her or do I speak up and say, yo, don't talk about her, whatever the cases are. But if I do that, then it's like I'm coming off like I'm guilty. And then if I say something about having remorse, like I would like to, or saying something about certain things, it's like I come off like I'm guilty of something that I didn't do. So I had to be quiet on certain places. Now, I need y'all to really take this in and understand like how this works at this point. When All this starts happening. LA Times. Okay, this is put in public information. LA Times puts out an article, and in the article they say, this is the initial report. Two sources close to the investigation said that she got cut by glass, and she said that she got cut by glass. So then it's like people see that, okay, hold on. They're saying on the initial police report with Officer Santiago, whatever his name is, you can go look this up. This is on LA Times. That's when it gets to this point where it says, okay, they reported no gunfire wound in her foot. They just reported a woman with a foot injury. So you got to understand, like, this is what's in their initial police report. Fuck all the Instagram, fuck the other shit. This is just what's in the police report. So you got to understand, like, I'm getting to a point where I'm like, wow, I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, like, at the end of the day, like, maybe some people might see this, maybe some people might not. It gets to academics, it gets to academics, it gets to Hollywood Unlocked, it gets to certain places, right? And she comes out with this tweet that says, keep talking and I'm gonna stop sparing you. It's like, my love, I have not been on the internet for 3 months. And then 30 minutes later, she just goes on live, and it's like me telling you, yo, keep talking, my nigga, and I'm gonna slap you. And then I just slap you. It's like, you didn't do anything for me to slap you, I just slapped you. So it's like, who was talking to who? Who are you saying to keep talking to? I don't understand. Whatever. It gets past this point, and it gets to a place where now she says, I'm gonna stop sparing you, whatever the case. She gets on live. Now, because it got on academics that there was no gunfire wound on the initial report, everyone starts going to her page. Again, she starts reacting to certain things. Now, I'm gonna say one thing. I'm not getting mad at her or whatever it is, because I understand that she is dealing with a lot. Like, when it comes down to, you gotta understand, she lost both her parents, and I do sympathize with that. I lost my mother, and when I lost my mother, I realized one thing. When you lose a parent, you could be highly susceptible to people around you that are giving you parental guidance or things that feel like parental guidance, to believing that it is parental guidance, and you go with it. That's happened to me. I've been at that place where I've listened to a lot of people that led me down the wrong road because it felt like parental guidance that I should have been getting from my mother or my father that at that time wasn't around, or whatever the case is. So now it gets to this point now, whatever the case is, boom, she comes out and she goes, listen, you guys, and all this extra shit, this nigga keep talking about me. And I'm over here watching this like, yo, what did I say? I didn't say nothing. I said nothing to you. It's nothing. This nigga keep talking about me, bro. And so, you know what? Now we just gonna do it. This nigga TORY shot me, bro. This nigga shot me. He shot me. She gets into it. This nigga shot me. She starts breaking down the story. And I want y'all to pay close attention to how she breaks down the story. Okay? Really pay close attention. She breaks down the story and she says, yo, I'm arguing. I'm in the car. I'm arguing with this nigga. I'm tired of arguing with this nigga. We get into a heated argument. I'm tired of arguing with this nigga. I get out the car. This nigga get out the car, and he starts shooting me. For no reason, he starts shooting me. So boom, then the cops pull us over and da-da-da-da. Hold on, let's take the first facts back to what she just said. So you mean to tell me that you're in a car with a person and this person is arguing with you? This person has gotten you to a place of like, yo, I don't even want to be around you. Like, I'm above this, I'm out of here. You get out of the car because the heated argument is so heated. And then this person gets out and shoots you in both of your feet. And you jump back in the car? Why would you jump back in the car with a dangerous man who just did a dangerous crime to you, who did this criminal intent to you, and all this? Why would you jump back in the car? Well, yo, then the police pull us over, and I see, we're all black in the car. There's a gun in the car, so I don't even want to be like, I don't want nobody to get in more trouble, and I'm trying to protect this man. Because at the end of the day, it's niggas getting shot out here. She then throws the black card at me. I'm trying to protect this black man. My love, nobody ever reported that you got shot but you. So how are you trying to protect me? At what point were you trying to protect me? At what point? Like, you know, I got a child. You know that these type of situations, even an accusation, is something that I can't even be playing with. I don't even play with my life like that. So why would that, like, that to me just doesn't make sense. Okay, cool. Yo, I lied to the cops. I lied to the doctors. Let me tell you why they saying there's glass in my feet, though. Because I lied to the cops. I lied to the doctors. I lied to this, that. I need us to really understand that these medical doctors that are in a ambulance that work on site injuries 24/7 for all day, that have to know every type of on-site injury, the specifications on the type of on-site injuries, so they can treat it right. You mean to tell me you lied to these people and they just treated you for glass when you had a bullet in you? If that's what you're saying, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say they were dumb. You mean to tell me that the cops who were called for a gunshot in a Suburban or whatever the car was, found that same Suburban and found a gun in it, see you leaking, and didn't check you for bullet wounds? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say they were dumb. You then further said, yo, I'm at cotton mouth like a motherfucker smoking. You then say, oh, well, I was trying to protect this black man, so I never said nothing. I didn't want them to shoot me. I didn't want them to kill me. Okay, but when me and Kelsey and Quan were over there being questioned, you were in a stretcher. No one is going to shoot you in a stretcher. You had plenty of time to
Clock it. Clock it. If you are in a stretcher around a lot of ambulance and the police got the person that shot you over there, how are you scared at that point? Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. If somebody shoot at me or shoot me, I'm never getting back in the car with you. I'm never walking back towards you. And I'm definitely not protecting you at all.
tell the cops that you were in danger. You had plenty of time. I'm not protecting somebody who just heinously shot me after a conversation that we just had. My mind is not on protecting you. I'm bleeding from my feet. I'm thinking about protecting my own life and I'm in danger. Why would you not say that with 2 feet bleeding from 2 bullet holes? From what you're saying? I don't understand that. And then there's this whole narrative of, you know, like, I didn't want to put this black man on you know, I didn't want to get him in trouble. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm protecting this man and he keeps talking. And so now, you know, he keeps getting his media team to start doing certain things to make me look incredible and to smear me. And to make him look good and to make it look like around in the last 3 months saying anything. Have you seen in the last 3 months one article that made me look good during this? One? Have you seen it? You haven't seen it nowhere. Because at the end of the day, my PR team is not out here playing with my jeopardy of my life and freedom. Y'all are doing this for the internet. This is my life. I'm the only person with the case. So at the end of the day, when you sit here, y'all, like, I'm not gonna jeopardize my son, even if I know, regardless of what I know, it will come to light, and the truth will come to light. And no issue with that. I have no issue with that. But I need y'all to understand, like, I'm a human being, bro. Like, this shit hurts, bro. Seeing my friends, people that I had on quarantine radio, be people that were just like my real, like, at least people I thought were my friends, like people I thought were like cool people, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, everybody just shunned me. I showed everybody love at the top of the year. Everybody was on quarantine radio, hee hee ha ha ha. And the second y'all have an accusation, not even evidence, niggas just come bash me. I'm somebody who just, I don't get a say. Then I understand. Sometimes the way I move is unconventional, you know? And I came to a place where I was dealing with so much just talk and heat and just people coming at me that I made music because I was like, this is how I can speak through what I gotta do. This is how we get so mad about artists making songs about the same thing, money, chains, and cars. So when a nigga comes out and says his true passion, puts his true heart, his emotions, the pain that he's dealing with his baby mother, his child, when a nigga goes and does that and pours his emotion into the tape, or what, he wrong? I'm wrong, I get shunned off. They took me off of every single playlist. They took me off of every playlist. They didn't want my story to come out. They didn't allow my story to come out because it came off insensitive. I came off insensitive to people. Now I want to speak on this. I don't ever want anybody to ever think that I've been insensitive to Breonna Taylor. I marched 9 days straight in Miami for her and George Floyd. I would never, bro, I've mourned this woman as well. And everyone said, listen, we're mourning a black woman today, and you dropped an album? How dare the disrespect? Guys, let's bring this back. That day that I dropped that album, my mom, that was her birthday. And that was also the day she died. So I was also mourning a black woman, my mother.
Okay, so y'all heard that. Now we're gonna go to today. So what the his team, what they had to say about the new evidence that they have and how they think stuff went on. And salute to everybody in the chat.
He was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or
Okay, so this is the doctor that treated Meg the Stallion. Let me read it. Excuse me. Here it goes. It says Dr. Milton Little was the doctor who submitted a report claiming that Megan had been shot and had fragments removed from her feet. After Dr. Lafredo, with over 28 years of experience in emergency medicine, by the way, had already treated her for a glass wound on her left foot. He also happened to be the CEO of United Way of Greater Atlanta, the organization that affiliates with high-profile donors like Beyonce and Jay-Z. They have made significant contribution to various new United Way chapters. Megan also had the phone number of the organization on her website. That is crazy. This is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy as hell. But yeah, we're gonna listen to what the rest of the Tory team had to say.
James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun.
After over 2 years in prison without incident, TORY was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Meg and Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, TORY was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man, a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom.
Oh man, so y'all heard that right there, man. Days after Tory Lanez stabbing, his team has had a press conference and they're alleging that they have some new information, new evidence, and also they're alluding to Rock Nation, Megan Thee Stallion, her team, whatever they want to say, whatever they want to call it. They're trying to say without saying that Megan Thee Stallion's team has something to do with the stabbing. about to come out. So they're alluding to Megan Thee Stallion's team trying to silence Tory to stop that information from coming out. So I'm gonna let you guys hear some highlights from this press conference and let me know what you got to say about this whole situation.
Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case. The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gaston, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Ms. Pete, did not shoot at Ms. Pete, or did not assault Ms. Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Ms. Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Taquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that, anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. Why, at Ms. Harris's police interview, was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate? Highly irregular situation. Normally, we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while We at first were willing to let the process play out. It is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do. At this time, I'd like to Mr. Gianno Caldwell, the media member who was working on that op-ed for the New York Post. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. Good morning. Thank you for coming today. My name is Gianno Caldwell. That is spelled Gianno Caldwell, Caldwell. I am the founder of the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety at caldwellinstitute.org. I am also a member of the press for almost a decade now. I've been looking into Daystar Peterson's case for almost 6 months now, professionally known as Tory Lanez. And after reviewing the evidence, the reporting, and the legal analysis, I've come to the conclusion that Tory Lanez was railroaded by the former district attorney, George Gascon. He was also wrongly convicted. I believe if Jesus Christ was Tory Lanez's attorney, George Gascon would do whatever in his power to ensure that Tory Lanez lost that case. Tory Lanez's defense team have alleged the withholding of exculpatory evidence, prosecutorial misconduct, among other issues that I was compelled to write an opinion piece for the New York Post. It is true that last week, the New York Post editors reached out to 3 parties, one being George Gascon, Megan Pete's team, and Kelsey Harris. It is also true that Megan's team was the only ones that responded back for that request for comment. I had some glaring questions, and that was the reason for this op-ed. Things didn't make any sense to me, many issues in this case, and I was shocked by the lack of interest from the media to ask very simple questions. There were multiple people with gunshot residue on their hands that night. Why didn't all individuals have the residue tested, their DNA tested on the weapon? That's a legitimate question. According to the prosecution, Tory was excluded from the clip of the gun. And according to Tory's defense team, they said DNA analysis showed that there was a 0.01% chance that Tory touched the actual gun itself. Another piece that stood out to me, the call that the prosecution alleged Tory made confessing to a crime. I listened to that call. I'm sure many of you have as well. I didn't hear a confession. But what really shocked me about it is if my best friend was shot maliciously by someone just 2 to 3 hours before, I wouldn't have answered the call, or if I did, I wouldn't calmly have a conversation with the individual of it. And certainly I would ask, why did you shoot my friend? And more importantly, I would never have given you my current location out of fear of you finishing the job. That was something that stood out to me. I also, in my op-ed, discussed Kelsey Harris pleading the Fifth Amendment. She wasn't accused of anything by Megan Pete or the police, and to my knowledge, she wasn't under any investigation. So why plead the Fifth? What also shocked me is the prosecution gave her immunity. For what? What did she do? Is there an allegation of her doing something? I'm not aware of that. Maybe some of you can answer that question today.
Life's better when you're under our roof. Save up to 23% by bundling your...
Let me tell you why we have Spectrum. I'm on a video chat. Melissa's live stream with her audience. The kids are on.
During the time of trial, George Gascon, just to take you back to where we were at that particular point, he had just barely won a recall attempt. He lost support in many key demographics of voters. Crime was up in Los Angeles County. And this case would have been a silver bullet for him potentially winning. His policies obviously were bad and people were harmed. So that didn't happen, and thank God it didn't happen. At the heart of this injustice is the misuse of gun enhancement charges, a sentencing tool intended for the most dangerous and violent offenders. In Tory Lanez case, these enhancements were not supported by evidence. But George Gascon, interestingly enough, who is someone who regularly would drop enhancements or not recommend them, chose to provide enhancements to Tory. And in his case, in any given situation, according to legal analysts I've spoken with, he would do 1 or 3 years if he did it without the enhancement. That's interesting. Why did George Gascon choose to pursue these enhancements? You know, there's cases I've been looking through which George Gascon has pursued, many in which he utilized these enhancements. A couple come to mind that I would like to reference here. One, Raymond Danger Gonzalez, a Mexican mafia gang member involved in a premeditated murder of 2 young men in 2017. Despite the brutality of the crime, Gascon didn't recommend enhancements. You premeditated murdered a teenager and another individual, brutal crime. Why would you recommend enhancements, but you would recommend them for Tory? That doesn't make a lot of sense. He also didn't pursue sentencing enhancements for the senseless murder of General Hospital actor Johnny Victor in Los Angeles in 2024. There's a lot of issues with this case. Many, I think, that the media should be pursuing all angles of it. We should not allow there to be unanswered questions. We should pursue open questions without fear or favor to anyone. That includes Mr. Tory Lanez. In his letter from the Birmingham jail, Dr. Martin Luther King wrote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. If we take those words seriously, we must act when injustice is allowed to fester in plain sight." I founded the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety after my innocent teenage brother was murdered in Chicago on June 24, 2022. I stand firmly for public safety, for victims' rights, and for holding criminals accountable. But justice also demands that we protect the innocent and stand against politically motivated prosecutions. This is what I believe to happen here. When we imprison the innocent while violent offenders walk free, which is what George Gascon has often done, we undermine the very foundation of our legal system. Mr. Peterson was never given a fair trial, free from bias, political interference, and media-driven pressure. His continued incarceration erodes public trust and diverts focus from the real work of keeping our community safe. Further, while incarcerated, Mr. Peterson was recently stabbed in prison, as many of you know, a tragic incident that underscores the urgency of this situation and the risk to his life while this case remains unaddressed. Governor Newsom, I respectfully urge you to issue a pardon for Daystar Peterson, known as Tory Lanez, in a full and impartial review of his case. California must not be a state where justice is driven by headlines instead of evidence. And in the case of George Gascon, that was often the case. So I encourage everyone here to go to caldwellinstitute.org, CALDWELL, Institute, INSTITUTE.org, and sign the petition. This petition asks for the governor to pardon Tory Lanez.
After over 2 years in prison without incident, Tory was stabbed 14 times just days after a major national news outlet reached out to Meg and Pete's team, Kelsey Harris, and former DA George Gascon about a story on new evidence in this case. You don't have to believe in conspiracies to see the pattern. When evidence was about to come to light, Tory was nearly killed. So let's stop pretending this is complicated. Let's stop treating this like some cultural war flashpoint. This is about a man, a father, a son, Daystar Peterson, who has sat in a prison cell for over a year based on a case that wouldn't pass the smell test in any honest courtroom.
I want to know like how this will work legally. You know, right now they're speaking to us. How would the courts
I must be honest. That was a lie. But there's more. I have just got sent the footage of the night that they got pulled over, when the whole incident started. Hold on. I was told at the 2 minute and 19 mark, we will see Meg throw the bottle down that supposedly had the glass that busted in her foot. So we gonna check that out. So make sure you all paying attention. Like I said, it says at the 219 mark, we will notice her throwing the bottle out. So we gonna check this out.
Roll your windows. Lower all your windows. Roll down all your windows. Hollywood responders Hollywood only. Turn the car off. 631, do you have a vehicle description and license plate?
Roger, it's going to be a new Cadillac Escalade, license plate, John, Ocean Union 580.
Is that a bottle, y'all? Hold on. Let's go back some. So something did definitely fall out that car, y'all. I don't know what it is though. Hold on, let me see if I can zoom in. Now, as y'all can see, it's definitely something that came out that car before she stepped out the car. This is crazy. Hold up. At the 219 mark. You definitely see what looks like a bottle falling out the car and then her foot stepping out the car. Once again, as even Tori said, if this man did just shoot at you, why would you get back in his car? Hold on. Hold on, let me listen, cause I'm wondering why this never came out before. But yeah, let's listen. Now y'all remember at the 219 mark is where the bottle fell out, so we gonna listen. Oh, that's deep. That's deep right there. I never noticed. I never even watched that to notice that. And that's what I'm saying. Now that this has came out, it make you have to go back and look at a lot of stuff because we got to be honest, the case never made sense. We gonna have to agree on that. The case never made sense. But it's definitely something falling out of that car before she steps out. I can definitely see that, and she steps right damn near right where it fell. And mind you, at this point in time, she's in Tory Lane's car. She's in the man car that she said just viciously shot her. But if we looking at this video, it shows a bottle. It makes more sense than I guess whatever bullet fragments. This is crazy. I got to watch it again. Cause that's wild. I never noticed that. That's wild. That's wild. I'm glad I got to see that though, because I that's wild. That that's super wild. And it just goes back to the live that I played earlier that Tory Lanez was saying. Like, wow. It's crazy. I wonder why nobody else never noticed that. Now I can't say what exact bottle it is, but I definitely see a bottle falling out that car before she steps on it. We gonna run that back one more time before we go to listening to what Tory Lane's father had to say, because y'all know he be getting it in. That's crazy how that bottle fell out the car. Hey, Lexi. I'm gonna watch this one more time. This is Meg the Stallion and them getting pulled over that night. And if you notice at the 219 mark, when that police tells her to step out of the vehicle that she said the man that just shot her is in, a bottle falls out. Yeah, that was definitely a bottle that fell out that car. Ooh, and it just gets deeper and deeper. Cause I'm trying to figure out how nobody ever noticed that. Facts, idiot. And I also feel like if she was shot in the foot, she wouldn't be sitting in the car as the same person who just shot her. Oh, well, yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out. And as you see, like I said, it's definitely a bottle falling out that. It's definitely. Hey, everybody that's coming in. And yes, like I said, that's deep to me because, like I said, I never realized that. Hey, the real I spy. I've never realized that. But for the people that just came in here, one more time, because this is amazing. This is really amazing. At 219 in this video, it's going to show us when the police is telling them to get out of Tory Lane's car. This is after she said that he had shot her in the foot. But she's hopping out the car very fast and a whole bottle falls out the car. Thank you, Eddie. You definitely been a big help. But for the people that just came in, let's check this video footage out of that night and how when she stepped out, a bottle fell out and then she stepped right on it. At the 219 point. Hey, D-Dot. Hey, Keltry. Yeah, at the 219 part, you will see a bottle fall out the car. But from what I watched from all this stuff, they never said it was bullet fragments. They said the doctor that said it was bullet fragments worked for Rock Nation. I'm just saying, to be shot in your foot the way she listen, just look. I'm just saying. And like I've been saying, when it just don't make sense, it don't make sense. Like I said, this Tory Lanez case never made sense because it was never like enough evidence to completely convince me that he did this. Like I said, first things first, when it comes to me, you're gonna have to give me motive. I don't see the motive for Tory to even be mad that night. Like I don't get it. Like, okay, say it came out that he was hitting both of them. Why would he be mad? Now let's think more logically before we get into what his dad had to say. Let's think more logically. If Meg Thee Stallion lied to us, her fans, her boyfriend, everybody about sleeping with Tory Lanez in the first place, what do you think she told her best friend Kelsey when Kelsey started messing with him? Do you think that she told her, yeah, I did it? No, she lied. She lied. So of course we know when people get to drinking, like I said, we all synced the live that night when they was in the hot tub and stuff. And yeah, Tory was all on Meg. So when you sitting back as Kelsey looking at that and y'all drinking, I can't see him getting mad. I can see Kelsey getting mad because maybe Meg lied to her and she could tell that, it wasn't what it was. But I don't see Tory Lanez being mad enough to just start shooting the girl over an argument. Like, what would I care for? I had sex with both of y'all. Y'all can both go. I think Kelsey got mad and she couldn't take. That's what I'm saying, OC girl. But just like how Meg and her ex broke up, he said she lied and said she never had sex with Tory Lanez, which she told us the same thing. But she went on and did that interview and said she didn't. But when you have to get on that stand, you couldn't lie. I feel like that Meg probably hooked her up with the nigga thinking that, it's nothing, but it turned into something major. Yeah, like I think that's how it happened. Like I said, I just can't see, like, even that live that we just watched with Tory Lanez talking about it. He wasn't even angry then. Like, come on, he wasn't even angry then. I do feel like he spared them a little too much because look at where it got you. But let's check out his father.
Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming out and lending your cameras to the world. We appreciate you being here. My name is Sunstar Peterson, well known as the father of Tory Lanez, but his family affectionately knows him as Daystar Peterson. This may seem not even to matter today, but it does to me. The reason why he bears the name Daystar is because I was scheduled to speak in a conference in Washington, D.C. back in the early 2000s. Back in the late 90s. My wife and I stayed in a hotel across the river in Northern Virginia. I was up praying before that conference that I was supposed to speak at that evening. As I paced back and forth in my hotel suite praying, I began to quote the scripture from 2 Peter chapter 1, and it states, "For you will do well to take heed as unto a light shining in a dark place, until the day dawns and the day star arises in your heart." I didn't know whether it was a boy or girl in my late wife's womb, but I heard the Holy Spirit said to me, that is the name of your child. That's why he bears that name today. Now we're standing in the United States of America, land of the free and a home of the brave. I have watched from afar, being a Canadian. I have watched as presidents innumerable and other officials place their hand on the Bible and swear a sacred oath to uphold justice, to uphold truth, because that's what justice demands. So before I go any further, based on a courtroom that I stood in 508 days or so ago and heard my son convicted, is a court in the federal reality of things that also holds the Bible higher than judges. And so I'm going to pray a very short prayer before I get started here today. I'm going to pray that in the spirit of when Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, stood before Pontius Pilate. Pontius said, "Why do you not speak? Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you or to let you go free?" It was only one of the times that Jesus ever spoke. He said, "You would not have power over me unless God Almighty gave it to you today. And I have come to bear witness of the truth." Upon which Pontius Pilate replied, "What is truth?" That question was never answered in Pilate's judgment hall. But I answer it for you today because Jesus Christ himself told us what the truth was. Truth is not a philosophy. It's not an ideology. It's not a doctrine. And it certainly is not a religion. Truth is a person. His name is Jesus Christ, who said, "I am the way, the truth that leads you to life." Father, upon the basis of your word today that this nation was founded upon, I ask that every ear that needs to be opened, including the ear of the governor of the state of California, Gavin Newsom, I'm even asking today that in the midst of Mr. Trump's busy schedule as president of the United States, that this would come into his hearing. And so, Father, I ask you today, by your Spirit, because you're the only reason why my son is yet alive, have your way. And let this be glorifying your name. I thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen. So my name is Sunstar Carlisle Peterson. I come to you today in the capacity of an apostle of Jesus Christ. A word from the first century in our times, it would simply mean ambassador of Christ. So when I stand before you, I don't stand here to speak my own words. I represent the kingdom, and I am under authority to speak only what God allows. First and foremost, I really do want to thank you again, the press corps, and all of you who have vlogs and channels on YouTube or wherever you stream from. Thank you so much for being here. I would like to thank, in fact, all of those who identify with the name Umbrella as One Umbrella. It was actually launched so that my family would not just be the ones benefiting from whatever fame or fortune, but so that all people, anywhere that need a shelter could come under that umbrella. That's the reason why it was launched by Daystar's brother initially, who is known as Wolfgang Peterson. So I thank all of you who have always been an encouragement to us, who have stood with us. Those of you standing here today with free Tory t-shirts. Jono, can I have that t-shirt right there, please? Those of you who are wearing these and remembering this person, because I want you to understand that from the beginning of this, I stood as far back as 2021, and I watched where a spin doctor for the NBA, now high-powered attorney out of New York, Alex Spiro, ran a campaign to turn my son into a monster in the eyes of the world. At that point in time, God said to us, there is a time to be silent and there's a time to speak. We chose to be silent. And now we've been silent for way too long. The hour demands that we speak. One of the reasons why I stood silent is because I trusted in God, but I also did not want any blowback to affect my son, who was sitting in the belly of the beast. That's why I chose not to speak at that time. I am his father, and that is the second capacity in which I stand before you today as the spokesperson and mouthpiece for my family. Tory has 7 brothers and sisters. He has 5 brothers. He makes up the 5, I'm sorry, and there are 3 sisters. So today I would like to share a few things with you as well. I want to dispel a few rumors because I've been asked to by my son, Daystar, aka Tory Lanez. Number one, Daystar does not have a drinking problem. He does not have a drinking problem, and that was not the reason why this situation happened. He was not out on the yard, as it was about 6:30 in the morning, and cells were just opened for them to be able to go out to breakfast. On the Thursday prior to this incident, I was called by him, and I was told of the impending threat. And my family and I huddled and did what we always do. We prayed. We get together every single day and we pray. Sometimes it is twice per day. Wherever we are in the world, at a certain time, we're on our phones and we are praying. We pray for him. We pray for you. Because our mandate is not about violence. We're not here for vendetta. We're not here for any of those things. My son, as I stood with him in the hospital room on the first day, my wife being present, said, "Dad, I'm not holding any animosity against this guy. I don't want to take any action against him. Whatever the system does, the system does." But that is his stance, and that is our stance. Might I go a little bit further? Because this will not be the first time I've said this publicly. I bear Megan Thee Stallion no ought at all. In fact, we have prayed for her on many occasions in our times of prayer. So this monster that Alex Spiro tried to create, and when I stood in the courtroom on that day and heard a corrupt prosecutor dismiss the fact that so many people, it was overwhelming the amount of people that sent letters to their office and were called to testify before the courts as they were considering sentence, which had already been decided. And the judge blatantly showed on that day that it really didn't matter what anybody said. It was supposed to be a forum in which it would be decided based on all the extenuating circumstances, etc. But it had already been decided behind closed doors. It's so funny that there is indeed a woman who has made it her life's mission to be the whip in the press or on the vlogs. I'm not even going to call her name right now, but those who know. Everything that has to do with Tory Lanez, I believe that she is in some way compensated to spread these narratives. And so before the sentence was read in court, she already knew. That's really interesting to me. She already knew because she had discussed it with others, not knowing that it would come back to us. God is my witness. So moving right along, Daystar did not suffer superficial wounds. He was stabbed 14 times, 5 times in his back, 1 under his left cheekbone. In fact, his jaw was open. He was stabbed twice in the back of his head, and the rest in his torso, arms, and in his chest. It may seem sensational, but thankfully, like Dr. King, it was close to his heart, but did not penetrate. After that, he was being rushed to a facility nearby in a vehicle in which he said, and I quote, Dad, I thought it was my last. And having made my peace with God, I said, okay, God, is this how it's supposed to end for me? But God said no. God told him, do not give up. In the car, upon which he turned to the attending officers and he said, you must get me to wherever is the closest place that I can get to. I'm bleeding out here. He didn't even know his lungs had collapsed. All he knows is that he couldn't breathe. He could hardly speak. Upon which the officer turned around and looked at him and said, nah, we got to take him. He has to be airlifted. And thankfully, to God be the glory, he was airlifted. I want to report to you that I am very thankful to all of the attending nurses, doctors in that facility. They have done an amazing job in their professional capacity. I would also like to publicly say thank you to the COs, the correctional officers that we have seen around him. In fact, these guys have been nothing but kind to him. The system is one thing, but guess what? There are people who work in the system, and some of them still have hearts. Some of them still have a conscience. So as I'm winding down today, I would like to report to all of you who care about Daystar Peterson, the artist Tory Lanez, around the world. The reports in the hospital is that he is doing remarkably well. I was told yesterday, because they had already taken out the tubes that were draining the fluids from his lungs, they had already taken them out by the time my wife and I got there. And I was told by the nurse, in his particular condition, normally they would have had to leave those tubes in at least a couple more days. But yesterday they took him out because they said he is recovering remarkably. All that is left is for the healing of the wounds. So thank you for all the prayers that have gone up sincerely on behalf of Daystar and my family. We are truly grateful. But this is not over. So I'm reaching out to every prayer warrior around the world who knows what Christ stands for. Please continue to stand with us. As I stated before, Daystar was not drunk on that morning. It was 6:30 in the morning. It was nothing like that. It was an unprovoked attack. I don't want to go into the details of how it went, although I know them, because it is too gory to be describing right now. And so as I close today, whatever has been needed to be said has been said. So as I close, I want to quote you David, the king of Israel, who said, "You lead me beside still waters and you restore my soul. You lead me in the path of righteousness for your name's sake. And even if I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." One of the officers turned to me yesterday and he said, "You would be so proud of your boy. He has been in here and he has been praying." I got there to the hospital the first day, and typical Daystar, he was entertaining those officers. They were laughing. They were just, and he said, "Dad, it only hurts to laugh." But something broke my heart yesterday when towards the end of our visit, he said, "Dad, why is it that my life has to go through so many trials? Why? Why do I have to experience this?" And that's the note that I want to close on, to tell you that this person they've been trying to paint as a monster, that they were so scared when all of those testimonies came in. People I did not even know that he had secretly done things for. This is a guy, he would do things and not even tell anybody. And one young lady called me and said, "I was struggling. I was diagnosed bipolar. I was struggling. My children said, your son offered to pay my rent for 1 year while I could recover. The prosecution at the trial, when all of those testimonies came in and said, oh my God, you think that we were here to hand out the Nobel Peace Prize? And that's how he dismissed it. But as I sat on the court steps that day, God records all of it. And I know that my son will have justice. I lastly would like to reach out via this medium to say to the governor of the state of California, sir, it is in your hand to do something about this. You have the power and the means to examine the evidence that has been presented even to the courts. This is a travesty of justice. And to allow my son to go back into that same situation, a kid that when he went to prison, one of the things he has done so far is through his music to open up the cases of over 467 people through his Hands of God project to help families who can't even pay for justice on behalf of their loved ones. There was a post showed up on YouTube recently, a young man saying, I'd like to thank Tory Lanez. I would like to thank Unite the People. I'd like to thank all of them for allowing me to be able to be taken off of 4 life sentences. 4.
Plus 74 years.
I'm sorry?
Plus 74 years.
Plus, like, I don't even understand that kind of math. How do you say to a human being whose lifespan is 70, 80, plus 74 years? 4 life sentences plus 74. This is who Daystar is, not what they've tried to make you think he is. He never stops seeking to help people, even from behind the prison walls. Governor Newsom, you have the power to bring my son home, and for all of the reasons that went before I even ascended this podium. Sir, you are a family man. You also have children. Please take a moment and look at your child and ask yourself what you would be doing if the evidence was so overwhelming. Would you think that this man should be free because he's innocent? I hope you do. And I hope you do what you need to do. God bless you all. Thank you so much for being patient with me.
No, Edie, I'm gonna have to look that up. I haven't heard about that. But yeah, so and it was this other guy that I was watching tonight. So I was gonna listen to some of the stuff he said, but I mean, I think I'll do that maybe tomorrow because I'm gonna continue to follow this story. But I can pretty much say I'm kind of on the edge with this case. I don't believe it's fair, and it's a lot of bullshit and lies and cover-ups. Now, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but I know y'all seen the stuff that's going on with DDG and Haley Berry or whatever her name is, and it just seems like Rock Nation got a repeated cycle when it comes to stuff like this. Like, down from Chris Brown, him and his Rihanna situation, how Jay-Z and them, and then, this with Tory, and then this with Haley, she signed to Beyonce. I'm not really ready too much to dig into the DDG and Haley's situation because like I said, I can't say he did or he didn't do it. I know the last time I heard of him, he was trying to see the child and she wouldn't let him. Just a whole lot of, you know, baby mama, baby daddy stuff. But it is mighty shady. It's some shady business going on. That this was released and then this man was viciously attacked. Like he ain't been attacked. Another thing that's kind of weird is like one thing about people, we are a creature of habit. Like if you don't like somebody telling a lie on you, you're gonna speak on it. Kelsey has yet to say anything. Now I know if somebody's supposed to be my bodyguard or something getting up there lying on me, I'm gonna be like, that's not true. But then again, this is the same girl who took immunity, as Tory Lane said. Immunity for what? This is the same lady who pled the fifth. If you did nothing, what is you pleading the fifth to? So I mean, I can't say that they gonna let Tory Lanez right out, but I definitely do think that his case should be relooked at, reevaluated, because even with whatever the crime that they was trying to say he committed, I still feel like his punishment was overkill. Like that's a long time. Salute. It was so I'm ready to see what's next, because a lot of people say it's crap, but like I said, for them to have a big press conference and do all this and do all that, it got to be some truth to it. Yeah, the lady, I know the lady who snitched on the Mexican cartel or something, was selling drugs and doing all type. Oh yeah, I heard of her. I heard of her. I definitely heard of her. And that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of shady business. And I mean, Rock Nation just got a good way of getting, people off the way when they, you know, when they people in hot water. So I'm definitely gonna sit back and keep watching on this. I was gonna speak on these two clowns. And yes, I said it, these two clowns. Um, but that's just a whole nother live. I don't even want to put Diddy's situation in the same thing with Tory Lane's situation, and because it's just totally different. This stuff right here is deep. But yeah, I think that's about it for me today. I'm definitely gonna look up some more stuff, and we gonna keep this thing going. We listen, we don't judge, we just state our opinions. It's a lot going on in the world, and hey, I don't mind sitting here covering it. I really don't. So, like I said, I'm gonna save the live that I watched tonight from a certain somebody for tomorrow. And if y'all, on my IG, I'm Skoka Winfrey. If y'all get any information, feel free to send it to my inbox. All the stories, anything that you think that we can talk about, because I'm I'm knowing there's a lot to talk about. I just can't catch it all by myself. But until next time, y'all, be safe, stay dangerous, and keep your eyes on the goddamn prize. I'm out.